In the last video, we looked at Karl Popper's warning against destiny, against the idea that history itself can authorize cruelty. Now we need to slow down and clarify the idea at the center of that warning, because Popper's enemy was not history. It was something much more specific. Popper called it Historicism, and unless we understand what he meant by that word, his entire argument can be misunderstood. What Historicism is and is not. Historicism is often confused with the study of history, but for Popper, the two are very different things. Studying history means explaining past events, identifying causes, learning from mistakes. Popper supported that fully. Historicism, by contrast, is the belief that history follows discoverable laws, laws that determine the future. It is the belief that societies move in fixed directions. Stages of history are inevitable. Outcomes can be known in advance, and that some people understand this process better than others. This is the crucial move. Once the future is treated as knowable, politics becomes a matter of implementation, not judgment. Why Popper rejects laws of history. Popper's rejection of historicism begins with a simple observation. The future depends on knowledge we do not yet possess. New ideas, new technologies, new discoveries, and new mistakes. And because future knowledge cannot be predicted, history itself cannot be predicted as a law. Any theory that claims to know the future direction of society is therefore pretending to know the results of discoveries that have not yet been made. For Popper, this isn't just wrong, it is logically impossible. Why historicism feels so comforting. If historicism is so flawed, why does it keep returning? Popper thought the answer was psychological. Historicism offers comfort. It turns chaos into narrative, suffering into meaning, loss into necessity. If history is going somewhere, then pain is not pointless. Failure is not final. Cruelty can be reframed as tragic responsibility. Historicism relieves individuals of moral weight. If history demands this, then no one has truly chosen it. When historicism becomes political. Historicism becomes dangerous the moment it enters politics. Because once history has a direction, someone must be responsible for guiding it. And once guidance becomes necessary, opposition becomes obstruction. At that point, disagreement is ignorance, dissent is reaction, resistance is sabotage. Coercion is no longer cruelty, it is duty. Popper did not invent historicism as a straw man. He was responding to ideas that had already shaped real regimes. Historicism appears whenever people claim to have discovered the direction of history itself, and then organize politics around that claim. It has appeared in different forms, across centuries, across ideologies, across movements that believed themselves morally opposed. Example 1. Marxist historicism. In classical Marxism, history is said to move through necessary stages: feudalism, capitalism, socialism, communism. Each stage is treated not as a possibility, but as an inevitability. If capitalism must collapse, then opposition to revolution is not disagreement, it is resistance to history. And if socialism is historically necessary, then coercion in the present can be justified as a temporary sacrifice demanded by the future. For Popper, this is historicism in its pure form, a theory that claims to know where society must go, and therefore claims permission to shape people accordingly. Example 2. Fascist historicism. Historicism does not belong only to the left. Fascist ideologies also relied on historical destiny, but framed it in biological or national terms. The nation has a fate. The race has a mission. Decline must be reversed. Greatness must be restored. Here too, history is said to have a direction, and the leader claims to understand it. Opposition becomes betrayal. Pluralism becomes decay. Violence becomes restoration. Different language, same structure. Example 3. Technocratic or managerial historicism. Popper believed historicism did not die with totalitarian regimes. It reappears whenever societies claim that complexity itself requires control, that systems are too large for ordinary judgment, that experts must manage outcomes, that history, technology, or economics has made alternatives obsolete. At that point, politics is no longer about choice. It becomes administration, implementation, optimization, and dissent is dismissed not as wrong, but as irrational. Across all these cases, the structure is the same. A claim about history's direction, a claim to special knowledge, a transfer of moral responsibility from individuals to necessity. Popper's warning was not partisan, it was structural. And this is why Popper rejected historicism so fiercely. Because the moment we believe the future is already written, we stop asking whether our actions are just, and we begin only asking whether they are effective. The fatal move, from prediction to permission. This is the move Popper feared the most. Not prediction, but permission. When people believe history is moving toward a known end, they begin to believe they are authorized to shape others for the sake of that end. Human beings become material, not enemies, not criminals, material. And once people become material, almost anything becomes possible. What Popper proposes instead? Popper did not propose a counter-destiny. He proposed restraint. He argued for piecemeal reform, reversible policies, constant criticism, and humility about outcomes. Not because we should fear change, but because we should fear irreversible certainty. Progress, for Popper, was not moving toward a known future. It was reducing suffering without pretending to know the end of history. Historicism promises meaning, but it delivers control. It promises knowledge, but it erases responsibility. In the next video, we'll see where Popper believed this way of thinking first entered political philosophy, in Plato's ideal state, the rule of guardians, and the belief that society can be frozen in perfection. That is where the open society first found its enemies.